So we're back here on another Couch Coach Live, man. We're continuing our NFL preview. We got the South, so of course I had to bring my boys from the South, Thad B and Jelani. What's going on, fellas? What a game means to me. Podcast. Got both of the guys in tonight.
I know, right? This might be our it's about the first time together on a different show, but probably second and third. But definitely looking forward to talking about the AFC NFC South and just getting the football talk in general.
Absolutely, and I got my boy JB. What's going on, JB?
None much. Ready to talk some football.
Yeah,
Most wonderful time of the year.
Absolutely, man. It's like you said, like football is king, and man, we're here. We right on the doorstep. We got preseason action going on, and everything's great. Did a great high school football show with Sean Robinson last night. So to kick off the football season in Richmond, Virginia, it's going to be definitely a fun year. 2 years in the making, we finally back with that, and now let's talk about the South. So we're gonna start with the AFC. So we'll go around the horn, fellas. The biggest storyline in the AFC South. I'm gonna go with that first. The one that has the most vested interest. T-Law, I'm gonna let you go first.
For me, was Carson Wentz the biggest the missing piece. They went to the playoffs last year, played a good game versus the Bills, but didn't get as much production from Phillip Rivers as I thought they needed to. They have the best offensive line in the league, some weapons outside. Jonathan Taylor, Raheem Hines, and then Marlon Mack coming back. They missed all last year. And then they had the number one defense for most of the season last year. So, that the team's ready to go. It's all predicated on is the quarterback going to produce. Carson Wentz be that guy, take the team over the top. That's the storyline going into the season. If he's healthy, I see that happen.
Okay, cool. JB, what you got?
Ooh, so he kind of stole what I was going to say. So I was going to say Carson Wentz because I think when you look at Carson Wentz, he definitely had his best year as a pro when he was with Frank Reich, and he's gotten worse progressively as the years have gone on, but he's reunited with him. So I'm looking at the Carson Wentz name, but one that I'm looking at is I'm going to go with Tennessee. Tennessee has had a very good offense the last few years. They got Julio Jones. They still have Derrick Henry. So I think that, when you look at Tennessee's offense, you have to say, man, this is a Super Bowl-esque offense. But I think the thing that's held them back is their defense, especially their pass rush. So one of the biggest storylines I'm looking at with Tennessee is not what they're going to be able to do offensively, because I think their offense is going to be good. I think arguably they're probably going to have a top 5 offense in the league, but it's going to be their defense and especially their pass rush. Are they going to be able to generate a pass rush to be able to stop teams when they have to? I think that they do. I think possibly we're looking at Tennessee as Super Bowl contenders this year. If not, I think that they're a playoff team, but I think that they have a very low ceiling if they can't improve their defense, if they can't, generate a pass rush, because their pass rush has been horrible the last few years, actually.
Terrible. Yo, Jelani.
Yeah, kind of piggyback off of Jamie. He hit it right on the nail. Their pass rush and their defense is absolutely garbage. I know last year they picked up some names, but those names didn't really do anything. Obviously, Clowney, they tried to pick up our old outside linebacker and rusher, Vic Beasley. There's a few other guys. I think they had brought Attack in for a little bit too, but none of them really panned out. But outside of that, I think that kind of stole what I was initially going to say, was just the only team really I feel like that could or can challenge the Titans in the division would have been the Colts, and that's if Carson Wentz kind of reverberated back to his the first year when he actually played well, or just pre-injury Carson Wentz. And then find some guys on the offensive side, especially some guys you can throw the ball to. I know they drafted Michael Pittman last year. I think they got a wide receiver this year as well. So that's the only team that I felt like could have challenged them. Obviously he's hurt. We don't really know the greatest timetable when he's coming back. I don't think Jacob Eason and Sam Ellinger are going to really do the greatest of jobs, but their defense I'm sure will keep them within most of the games in the early going. And obviously Deshaun Watson, he's a question mark. I don't think Houston really did much anyway, but like I said, Colts is the only one I could feel that could challenge the Titans. So it's really just wide open division for them. It's really there just to lose. So that's the biggest storyline to me.
Yeah, my big storyline's got to be the Titans. I think like the heightened expectations, especially with acquiring Julio Jones, and just a simple fact of just taking that leap where you went from in 2019 going all the way to the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, and then losing this year to the Baltimore Ravens in somewhat we call it a revenge game. So what's next for this team? And we always, and it's funny, we always talk about the Tennessee Titans if you look at it from a standpoint of okay. The head coach is Mike Vrabel. We all know Mike Vrabel's in his exploits in New England, and he's the head coach of Tennessee. A lot of people would think themselves, "Oh, he would have a staunch defense," but that's not the case. When you think about him, you would think you have a staunch defense and kind of a struggling offense. Whereas now he has essentially one of the best offenses in the NFL and probably one of the worst defenses. From that standpoint. So it's almost like the role reversal of the situations. So, fellas, what is the biggest question in the AFC South for you? I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go back around. Jelani, what you got?
Biggest question, AFC South. I think I kind of said it in my little preview, but just I guess the Colts, honestly, like I said, if somehow, some way Jacob Eason is able to, get them to or have them at a winnable record to where they're challenging the Titans or even challenging for, that extra wild card spot in the AFC, which is looking pretty grim just because AFC is just a dog fest this year, then that's just wonderful. I guess it's wonderful in my eyes. I know if he comes on a little bit later. Stu would be very happy about that because, like I said, the main thing is they brought him in. They felt like, okay, Philly Rivers retired. They brought in Carson Wentz, younger, better arm. As long as they get the offense right around him, then they should be challenging the Titans in the AFC South. He gets hurt. We don't know a timetable, and now it's just kind of up in the air. Like I said, it's just wide open for the Titans to just take the division, but. Biggest question is if they're able to, I guess, it's not really a question, but I guess my answer is like if they're able to stay somewhat within striking distance with the Titans, until Carson Wentz comes back, even though when he comes back, it's probably, it's going to be middle of the season, probably tail end of the season. Who knows? They might not even throw him in at that point. So if Jacob Eason is, balling out or whoever, Samuel just balling out, they may just keep him at the starting position and then ride it out and see how long, or see how close or how far they can get with them at the quarterback spot. But I guess he's really just the biggest question. He was the biggest, I guess, acquisition outside of Trevor Lawrence in this conference. And say if he's either able to come back early or the backup quarterbacks are able to keep them in striking distance, it'd be interesting to see if they're able to snag one of those wild card playoff spots, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. JB, what you got?
So I definitely I think that there are a lot of interesting storylines in this, but one I'm going to go with is this cloud that's hanging over Houston right now. Is Deshaun Watson going to play this year? Like, what's going on with the situation? If Deshaun Watson plays, definitely, I don't think Houston's a playoff team this year. I think they're probably going to finish in last place this year. But if Deshaun Watson can play, Houston's a lot better if he can't play. So I think just what's happening with Deshaun Watson, is he going to play? And if he does play, are they going to trade him? That's, to me, one of the biggest questions that's going on in the AFC South, because if they trade him, that just tells me that they're going for a rebuild. So I'm looking at just this cloud of mystery that's hanging over Houston with Deshaun Watson. That's like my biggest question in the AFC South at the moment.
Yeah, it don't look good for Deshaun Watson as far as playing this year, unfortunately. It does not.
Yeah.
Bad, what you got?
My biggest question is, it might be a little biased, but is the division a two-man race? I think, like, everybody knows that the favorites are the Colts and the Titans. My question is, can the Jaguars compete? They don't have a favorable schedule, but potentially could they sneak in?
Yeah, I don't got
talent, but if they, it's all about if they put it together. They probably won't put it together in year one, but that's my biggest question. Is this just a 2-minute race, or will the Jaguars make a little this year?
Dang, QB1, another one. Yeah, one of my biggest storylines is actually the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are now the new flavor of the AFC South. As far as the one that everybody's going to gravitate to, I'm curious about Trevor Lawrence, what he's going to do in his first year. Urban Meyer is there, and just it's going to definitely be an interesting team. And like I said, is it like you said, you brought a good point. Like, is this a 2-team race? At this point, and then we like say we'll know about the Colts. Like, so it's one of those things where you look at can Jacksonville at least shake it up? Which I want to tease it, but I'll just let it. I'll just let it flow when it on the next topic. So, fellas, break. Biggest question. Yeah, breakout player in the AFC South. I'm gonna go with you first, Thad. What you got?
I wish I could give two people. I'm not gonna be biased again because I feel like I'm gonna be a little biased this whole episode. But for me, I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor. He had 1,100 yards last year. He kind of broke out last year as a rookie, but I think he'll turn it up a little bit more this season. Like I said earlier, best offensive line in the league, and they're dominant in the run game. They can run the ball on anybody at any point in the game. So I think that with a better quarterback in the passing game, defense will be threatened a little bit, and they won't stack the box as much because Carson Wentz has a much bigger arm than Phillip Rivers. He can hit him over the top. With Phillip Rivers, they can stack the box for 9 people, play man across the board, and not have any help over the safety. Safety help over the top.
Yeah.
With Carson be a little different. He might face lighter boxes, and I think he'll break out this season. I could see like a 1,500 yards on the ground, 350 yards in the air, in about 20 seconds.
Yeah. And Thad, you're on Couch Coach Live. Biases are welcome here. Like, that is okay. This is a safe place for bias. It's okay, but I got your back. I got somebody for you that you're gonna like, that B. So JB, what you got?
So man, this is a tough one. Now I'm gonna go here, and I know that this might be a bit cheating, but like I'm gonna go with Carson Wentz, man. I think Carson Wentz has really. I just like the. I like the marriage of him and Frank Reich. I really do. I think he played his best football under Frank Reich. I think he's gonna, if he stays healthy, which there have been some issues with him staying healthy in years past, but if he stays healthy, I think that I would not be surprised if he's not top 5 MVP finish this year. And I think that if he's healthy, with their defense, I think that probably the Colts are the favorite to win the division. And another one I'm going to say too is the rookie quarterback in Jacksonville. I think he is primed to actually have a good year too. I'm going to say this from the standpoint that I think Herbert, what he did last year was impressive in San Diego. And I think that Lawrence has the ability to do something similar to what Herbert did last year as well. But my breakout player, I'm going to go with Carson Wentz. And Jonathan Taylor is a good one too. I actually think with Carson Wentz, I think that you're probably going to see Jonathan Taylor more involved in the receiving game this year, which I think is good for the Colts as well. So,
yeah, like you said, yeah, and like you said, and Carson Wentz, man, like you said, because besides that season at Philly, they won. He's due for it. So I definitely agree with you on that one. Jelani, what you got?
He kind of took one of them. Obviously, I was going to go T-Law. I feel like that's cheating as well, obviously, just because I feel like he's in a good position. Urban Meyer, offensive minded head coach, got receivers around him just like in college. The only question is, I know, is their offensive line. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know, Thad probably can speak to it better, but like our offensive line sucked ass in the first preseason game, and they, like, what I'm hearing out of camp is just a totally different type of makeup and makeover, and more than likely they'll probably spend money on the offensive line I guess the money that they got back from trading Julio. So I'm pretty sure if they get that right, they'll fix that right for T-Law. Obviously, he's the future franchise quarterback for that club. So, that first showing in that preseason game, especially get some twos, it's not good. So more than likely they'll get that fixed up for him, and he'll figure everything out. He has the arm, he has the talent, he has the size, he has the IQ. So I feel like he'll easily put it together. Outside of him, this is probably still Gene. I got two other ones. I know Josh Allen for Thad's squad as well. I know he was injured last year, but yeah. Obviously, more a little bit. I know he's injured a lot. I don't know how many games he missed, but he had a lot of hampering injuries. The year before that, I think he had 11 sacks, 10 sacks, something like that. So
10.5.
I think he'll return back to form this year. It's crazy to see how dominant of a defense they had 3-4 years ago to pretty much trading everybody away. But they got a lot of young studs on that side of the ball, and I think like I said, as long as he stays healthy, I think he'll get back to form. I think they changed up their scheme a little bit as well. Thad could probably speak to that. And I think he'll, like I said, be right back in double digits if he can stay healthy. Yeah.
Shout out to Jelani. I said the same thing. In that world, the real Josh Allen. so yeah, like you said, I think he'll definitely be good, especially we talked about almost 11 sacks last season. Well, in 2019, and obviously with the injuries this year. Then you're bringing in Joe Cullen as a D coordinator, who actually, he was, I think he was a defensive line coach for Baltimore for I think about 5 years. So he's been a long time member of that staff in Baltimore, and then he comes now to Jacksonville. So I definitely think that's gonna he's gonna be one that you're gonna it's you're gonna remember. You might get a little confused, which Josh Allen gonna ball out tonight, quarterback or the one for the Jags. But yeah, man, I definitely think he's definitely gonna have somewhat of he's gonna have a year similar to 2019. And what's weird because they got drafted in two different drafts, but they were the same pick or something like that. Because Josh Allen, the quarterback, got drafted first in 2018. He was the 7th overall pick, and then Josh Allen was the 7th, in 2019 or something like that. Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it? That's wild.
Shout out to the Raiders for passing on them.
Hey, shout out to Cleveland Farrell, man. Richmond stand up, a local hometown hero. So definitely shout out to Cleveland Farrell. Yeah, but yeah, man. But dark horse team in the AFC South. What you got, Jelani?
I guess got to stay on the Jaguars train because that's the only other team that could really be a dark horse. Like I said it earlier, Colts quarterback questions are up in the air, but if either Jacob East and Sam Ehlinger figure it out while Carson Wentz is out, and then Carson Wentz comes back and balls out as a top 5 MVP candidate, like he said down there, then they're in great position. Like I said, they're either battling for the AFC South title or they're snagging up a wild card spot possibly. But like I said, Jaguars is the only other dark horse. Like I said, they have a young and promising defense. I think they'll get that side of the ball right. And it'd be a big makeover from last year. Offensively, all it seems like they really have to do is get that line right. And like I said, T-Law is probably going to go through the bumps and bruises of a first-year rookie quarterback at some point. I don't think he's going to just look straight up flawless, but they got players around him that can make plays for him, big plays, backfield and outside at the receiver spot. So that's the only real dark horse, like that I said earlier, with his biggest question, if they're able to compete. They do have a pretty daunting schedule, but if they're able to snag a few games here and there, because last year, even with Mullet boy, running the team and yeah, it was miss you running the team and them looking like they're gonna tank. They played a lot of good games and they played a lot of opponents real close and could have came out with wins in a lot of the games that they played. So sure, they should be on the flip side of that this year, and hopefully, like I said, they're competing. That's the only dark horse I can think
of. What you got, JB?
Same thing, man. Basically, they're the only, because I think that Houston, they haven't been the same since they blew that 24-0 lead, man.
Oh.
That was just bad karma, man. And how do you blow that lead in like 11 minutes? I still don't know, but like, yeah, I agree with what Jelani said because Jacksonville, yeah, they only won one game last year, but like they were in a lot of close games and they lost a lot of games that are coin flips. And generally speaking, in the NFL, if you lose a lot of close games one year, usually the tide turns for you the next year. So, yeah, I think that. If the Jaguars, and people will probably laugh at this, but if the Jaguars win 6 games this year, that's a massive improvement from, one the year before. 6-11. 6-11 or 7-10, that's, something to build on for the next year. So I definitely think the Jaguars are the dark horse team. And who knows, man, they could get to 8 wins. You never know.
Dad, let your bias show. It's okay.
Yeah, it is biased. I don't want to be repetitive, but there's no other choice.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, if the Titans go 14-3, nobody's surprised. Like, they just got hit. They're a solid team. The Colts were good last year. They got a better quarterback, so you would expect them to improve. I just think, like they said, we played in a lot of close games. Like, we played the Packers very well last year. We played the Titans very well. We had some good games. We just couldn't close it out, and our team was just we were weak in some spots. And I just think we can creep up if we can steal a couple of games, win. And the key thing is to win the games we're supposed to win, like when we play the Jets or the Texans. We can't be messing around. When we play the Broncos week 2, we got to win those games. I know the Broncos are solid, but we got to win a game like that at home. So it's not much to say. I just feel like we got to win our games we're capable of winning, and the Texans have no shot whatsoever. Like the number 1. My boy Davis Mills, I hope he ball out, but hopefully they don't have a low pick like that because they might be looking for a quarterback, but it's looking that way. And when we say our record predictions, we'll find out.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. It's only up for the Jaguars, so they're the dark horse team.
Yeah, definitely. That and you mentioned Denver Broncos, aka the Washington football team of the West. But yeah, like you said, I think it's unanimous. The AFC in the AFC South is got to be the Jaguars. And that you was on the AFC preview show that we did right last week. I'm telling you, I am not gonna front, but the Podfather himself. He got me drinking some teal Kool-Aid that when we were talking that night because and I looked at the schedule after we did the show last Wednesday. December might be an interesting stretch for you guys because we look at I think you start like with the Rams and then I think and like Jeff even said I don't recall like as far as verbatim but the Cliff Notes version of what he was saying is 3 of your last 4 games. You could potentially be favorites in those games. I mean, because I think you got Houston, you got the Jets. Shout out to Zach Wilson. The Patriots potentially. Well, this depends on what's going on there with McCorkle. If McCorkle is, if he's playing at that point, whatever. And then Indy, like we said, we don't know what's going to happen with that situation if Carson Wentz comes back in a time where they can kind of salvage the season or just this is however the season progresses. And I like they got some games there where I'm not saying they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're gonna have some nice, they're gonna have a nice schedule to help the momentum for 2022. So I mean, yeah.
Nah, this is all I'll say real quick.
Yeah.
The schedule it's hard, but like if we do what we're supposed to do and we go into October like 4-1 or 3-2, there's a small shot because once you get in October, we start playing the Seahawks, the Bills, the Niners. It's not looking too good. So
Right.
If we start off strong, we might have a shot. But if we go into that October stretch like 1-3 or 1-4, we might as well just. I'm not saying we can't tank it, there's no shot at the playoffs. We'll know by week 6 or week 7. I think.
Yeah, and y'all go to London, your annual trip to London. Now, do y'all?
I don't. Nah, this year I don't think. There's.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Nah, I think they're doing it, but I don't think the Jaguars are going because I think there is one London.
They got London. Yeah, because I know Jelani, they got to go.
Yeah. I thought we was gonna play the Jaguars, but I think we play the Jets.
Yeah, I think y'all play the Jets. Yeah. But dang, that's good. Man, that's another thing. See, that's the T-Law effect. You ain't got to go to.
Yeah, man. When they talked about moving the team, I was hot.
Yeah.
They would have lost the fan. I don't know where I would. I might have went to Kansas City.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's like that. I mean, if the team moves or the team change their name, I think sometimes you might have a situation where you can do that. That's only like because I used to hate when people say, "Oh, you're a grown man, you can't change football teams." I mean, if the circumstances change, absolutely. Like I ain't like because they lost in the Super Bowl now. Yeah, that's a little cop out. Like but like the London Jaguars, like the Wembley Jaguars, like hell no.
Yeah.
I'm probably just talking, but I would have been mad. I don't think I would have switched teams, but I would have been mad.
Yeah.
I feel you, because I'm gonna be real with you. If Robert Cruz was not in my life at that time, I would be I would not be a Washington football fan at all. I'm telling you, I was ready to jump. I'm being transparent with you. But Rob talked me off that ledge, and hey, we here. And I tell you, if it weren't for that Robert Cruz, I swear, like I would not be a fan of this team potentially.
I got it coming up soon though.
Yeah.
Games on the horizon.
Yes, indeed. So, AFC South record predictions. I got to go with that. B. What's your predictions, Dad?
I wish Stu was on the show so I could hear.
I know, right?
I'm gonna start from the bottom and go to the top. I have the Texans going 1-16. I know it's not realistic, but there's a shot. If you look at the schedule, they could go 0-17. Like they could beat us.
Wow.
There's not too many winnable games.
Wow.
The Jaguars going 7-10. I said this a long time ago. Like anything from 7 to winning range, I'm good with it. I don't expect any more than 10. If we win 10 games, that's our ceiling for this season, I think. So 7-10 is what I got, and then I have the Colts going 9-8, and the Titans going 27.
What was Titans' record?
10-7, and the Colts going 9-8.
Okay. Ain't bad, So I guess that's the Houston Texans in the Sam Howell. We'll see. Yeah. Let's hopefully I definitely don't want him to go to Philly. I don't want him to go to Philly. But Jelani, what your record prediction? What you got, Jelani?
Yeah, I'm trying to start with the Colts, and I'm over here. I'm definitely I'm struggling because I've been struggling the whole show just because I don't know what to expect from them. Like I love their defense, but like I think I had on the Smack Talk, Shawn Michaels, he was saying like nowadays, within last 2-3 years, you see and the Mahomes effect, like you don't have to have a dominant defense. Like you have to start scoring points at some point. So it's like you have a mediocre defense and high flying offense, and I don't think they got that. I'm looking, and I think I'm gonna go. Did you say 9-8 too, Thad?
For the Colts,
yeah. I'm gonna go 9-8. Like there's winnable games. Obviously, I think they'll sweep the Texans. I think they'll beat the Raiders. Maybe they have a chance. They should beat the Lions. Oh, that's preseason. Hold on. Yeah, it's preseason. Yeah, never mind. They might even be lower than that. Yeah, but I'm gonna go 9-8 because I'm gonna defer and say that Carson Wentz comes back and he's a shell himself and he plays better toward the end of the season. But it looks like they start off with a pretty hard schedule. They got to play Rams, Titans, Dolphins, and Ravens first 4 games. That's ridiculous. Titan wise, I'm gonna go 11-6. They definitely got some losable games on here as well. And defensively, if they're not able to stop nobody, it's going to be a little bit of a repeat. I guess not a repeat of last year, but it's going to be tougher this year. I think a lot of people's offenses have gotten better. Scheme wise, they're going to be a lot better as well. Dad's team, I'm going with 6-11. He kind of took the words out of my mouth. They got to start strong. If they don't, it's not going to look pretty. and they can finish out the year with some wins, but they got to start off strong if they want to have a chance at the playoffs. And then, Houston, I'll just be nice, 2-15.
Nice.
They can snag another one. I think they obviously will play close. They could get one off the Jags. Who knows? They could get one off the Jags, and then they'll steal another one somewhere else. But that's my record predictions: 2-15, 9-8 for the Colts, 11-7 for the Titans, and 6-11 for the Jags.
Yeah. All right, cool. JB, what you got? Your records.
Okay, let's start at the bottom first. So I'm gonna be nicer to the Texans than both of them were. Look, man, you usually, even if you're a bad team, you luck up and win at least a few games. So I'm gonna say the Texans. I'm gonna give them 3 wins. I'll say the Texans are gonna be 3-14. Jaguars, I'm gonna say that they'll be 6-11. This is where it gets tricky at, though. I think I'm seeing a lot of 9-8 for the Colts. If Carson Wentz was to miss substantial time, I would agree with that, but I don't think he is. I'm going to go with the Colts and the Titans with the same record. I'm going to say the Colts and the Titans end up 11-6, and I'll say the Colts end up winning the division.
Okay.
And the Titans are a wild card.
Okay. Yeah, so I got Houston, and we did a simulated season. Shout out to the Podfather, which I screwed up. I had the Texans being 8-9, which I'm like, I don't know what made me possess me to do a simulated like that. So I actually got the Houston Texans actually winning 4 games. I got them 14-13. I mean 4-13. Pardon me, 4-13. Mm-hmm. The Jaguars at 7-10. I actually got the Colts at 9-8, and I got the Titans 13-4. I think I got them winning 13 games. So, yeah, but when that simulation come out, y'all don't at me. That's how I got to arrange a show with Jeff because I'm like all this stuff. I'm like, yo, it's wild. When I tell you, it's really wild when we did the season simulation. But we round out the AFC South. So before we head to the NFC, we definitely got I forgot we had to pay some bills. I forgot. So definitely huge shout out. So this week's Couch Coach Live, we're brought to you by the good folks at mybookie.ag. Hit them up. Use our promo code Off the Ball, where you can get 50% off of your deposit up to $1,000. Just use our promo code Off the Ball. So, fellas, what's up with the static, fellas? Who got the static?
You good?
I have feedback and static. Is that about like a headphone? You got that headphone on that? It sounds like more so like if you had like headphones and like it's not like hooked in or whatever.
That's not me. I took mine in and out.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear? Is it still doing it?
Yeah, it's still doing it. There you go. Yep. I think
It might be
probably
me.
me.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah. It's all good.
I'm the culprit.
Huh? All right, you good. Yeah. I think you good. Okay.
It was me.
Yeah.
I told him I'm the culprit, but
yeah, it's all good. But we here. You know, talking about the NFC South. So, and this is Jelani's conference. It's Jelani's wheelhouse. So we definitely got to represent, and we're gonna look out for you tonight. I mean, well, me personally,
hopefully.
But so I got some good things to talk about this team, honestly. So let's go around the horn, fellas. Let's get that going. Bring JB back in the frame. So now we transition to the NFC South. Jelani, the biggest storyline in NFC South for you?
Biggest storyline. I don't even know. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm not going. There's nothing really, I guess, surrounding my Falcons. Obviously, the biggest storyline for us, and probably a lot of the NFL, is obviously us trading away our franchise wide receiver, who we just signed to extension 2 years ago. Training them up to the division we just finished talking about, and kind of who's going to fill his shoes, fill his role with us drafting Kyle Pitts. That's it's what they're putting a lot of pressure on. I feel like I'm hoping that's the one thing us Falcons fans don't do is just hope that he comes right in and is Julio Jones immediately. Like, it just never works that way. But like I said, if I was going with my Falcons, that's the biggest storyline. That's getting rid of a future Hall of Fame receiver, bringing in a rookie is supposed to kind of filling his footsteps and kind of us not miss a beat. But overall, I don't know. Like, I guess it's not the biggest storyline, but obviously the team to beat, and it's been obviously a quiet offseason for them because they was able to lock up every single starter that they had last year. But just the Bucks, like, are they still the favorites? Obviously, they're still the favorites in this division, but are they still looking past that Super Bowl favorites? They still the favorites in the NFC to take the number 1 seed. It's all that type of stuff, which I think a lot of people will say yes. But I don't know. I think there's some teams in the NFC that got a little better that could probably still challenge them a little bit to their throne, the number 1 spot.
Yeah, a team up 95 South, but I mean 95 North, but it's okay. So JB, what you got? Biggest storyline.
Okay, so this one to me is actually really bizarre, and it just kind of came up like a week and a half ago. But I think what's going on with Michael Thomas and the Saints, I think that's a huge storyline. Is the relationship beyond repair? I mean, like, it was just really bizarre how he kind of cut off contact with the team during the offseason, and he waited a while to get the surgery, and it looks like he's not going to be ready to go to start the season. And they invested a lot of money, and I'm pretty sure if they had known he would have done this, they would have just given the franchise tag. But they gave him they paid him big money, and he kind of let the team down. So I think that's a huge storyline. The other storyline is like the team to beat in this division for the last few years has been the Saints, but I don't think that I don't think the Saints are a playoff team this year. Like, I think we'll get into that later with the records and everything, but they kind of went all in like last year, and they came up short, and they have like a lot of salary cap problems. So, like, how good are the Saints going to be this year? Like, are they like a fringe playoff team, or are they like a 7 or 8 win team? So I think my biggest storylines like all have to do with the Saints.
Yeah, big time. Dad, what you got?
For me, it's will the Saints have to rebuild or reboot? They lost Drew Brees, but they kind of had a small little plan, bringing in Jameis, letting him sit for a year, getting a lot of mental reps, and their plan is, for him to come in and pick right where they left off. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. We're going to see. They didn't really do a good job of helping Jameis out. They didn't re-sign too many receivers. They didn't bring too many weapons back. All they have is Michael Thomas, AK. They let Jared Cook walk. They let Emmanuel Sanders walk. And they just didn't have too many weapons. Like, Jameis was used to airing it out down the field. He doesn't have a deep threat, big play receiver. Maybe Tre'Quan Smith, maybe not. We'll see. But that's my biggest question. Will the Saints have to reboot or rebuild? Because they lost a lot of pieces. On the defense, for the most part, they're straight. They lost Jack Rabbit, but they could fill in. Their secondary is pretty good for the most part. But we're going to see how Jameis, the new offense with Jameis goes.
Yeah, big time. My big storyline is can the Bucks repeat? They bought all 22 starters back. This is an interesting team. Tom Brady once again at 44. I still can't get over the fact that Tom Brady is 44 and he's still playing the pace he is. And like you said, great additions. Giovanni Bernard, UNC. Mm-hmm. See that? I told you it's a safe place here. It's okay. You can inject your bias. But that, and then just the defense comes back. Everybody comes back, and even offensive. The defense and offensive coordinator comes back. So this team is back, just like like it was constructed last year. And the only team at this point that Tampa Bay, they're in their own way. So at this point, like you said, they are the clear favorite, and that's the biggest storyline for me in the NFC South. So the biggest question for you guys in the NFC South, I'm gonna go with you first, Thad. What you got?
It's kind of like the same thing I said with the AFC South, but it's only one team. Who's going to be that second team with contending with the Bucks, or who will contend with the Bucks is really the question. It's the Bucks and then everybody else. The Falcons let go of their best player. They're not rebuilding, but they were terrible on defense last year. They lost their best player, and they didn't really have much cap space to make many moves. So what's going to change there? The Saints lost some pieces, some key pieces, and the Panthers. For me, we'll talk about it later, but they might be the second team in my opinion. They have a lot of talent, a lot of young talent. They've drafted well in the last couple of years. And maybe can they make that next step with a better quarterback play? They had a banged up Cam the last 2 years, and they had Teddy Bridgewater, who was just a game removed. So can they take that next step with a new quarterback? We shall see. But yeah, who's going to contend with the Bucks?
Yeah, big. JB, your question.
Ooh, so there are a few. I think that we kind of touched on the Saints. Are the Saints like rebooting or are they rebuilding? Are the Saints? I think this is kind of a transition year for the Saints. But for me, the biggest question goes to the Panthers. Is Sam Darnold that guy? Like, the Panthers were a very interesting team last year to me because, like, they actually played a lot of teams really hard, but they didn't have a quarterback that could go out and win games for them. Is Sam Darnold a disappointment or was it just the Jets is my biggest question, because I think that if Sam Darnold can come in and he can be more than a game manager, which he has the tools to be more than a game manager, I think the Panthers are the second best team in the division. I think they're easily the second best team in the division, and I think that if that's the case, the Panthers can definitely contend for a wild card spot.
Yeah, like you said, now you got an offensive. Well, even though Adam Gase was an offensive guy, but like you said, oh gosh, but nobody really can survive the wrath of Adam Gase at this point. But like you said, then you've been Matt Rule and then Joe Brady. That definitely helps, and then he brings in a guy like a Robbie Anderson is there, and people fail to realize, like, I mean, he was solid the first year when he started. He was 79. And then we know he got mono, and then from mono it just went downhill in this 10-year with the Jets, and so yeah, this is a rebirth for him, and they got, and that's like you said, they have to figure out what he's about quickly, because you're gonna have to, if he does good and you want to keep him, you have to cop some money for him. So this is definitely a pivotal year for him. Jelani, what you got?
Yeah, mine it's kind of two, like one piggybacking off what that says, like the division's honestly wide open. That second spot, I don't know, it really can be any of the three teams, to be honest. Like it's just that big of a question that is like who's going to be that second fiddle to the Bucks, like who's going to challenge them. I don't think anybody obviously gets close to them division wise, but like can a team possibly make a run at a wild card spot? Or like you said, just be in games, compete with them in the two matchups that they have against the Bucks. But this division's pretty much wide open. And it's kind of it's different. Like 3 years, probably 3 years ago, I think they was talking about NFC South was one of the better divisions. And then now it's just not that at all. A lot of teams are just in a weird position. But outside of that, like Thad and Jamie, they're biggest storyline was the Saints. My biggest question is the Saints, because just like with Dad's team that we were saying, if they're like 4-1 or whatever heading into October, it's possible they can, make some noise and maybe, vie for a playoff spot. For me, it's like I said, they're stuck in a weird spot because, like Dad said, they had to cut a bunch of people. Like they traded for Quan Alexander middle of the season last year. I think they had to cut him, cut Jack Rabbit. They cut a bunch of people, didn't re-sign back a bunch of people, obviously because of the cap issues, but they're still a decent team. Jameis quarterback in them. If Michael Thomas comes back at some point, hopefully, like I said, that relationship may get rekindled. Who knows? They still got AK. They still got a good defense. So, like, they could possibly be that second team still, but it really just depends, like, how they start off the season. They start off pretty strong and hot. It's like, all right, they're maybe not in rebuild mode. Maybe they're 3 pieces away. Maybe they make some mid-season acquisitions, and they are the second fiddle to the Bucks, or are they, will they just go downhill? Will Jameis not have a great year? Will everybody be injured? Just will they be a shell of themselves and then kind of just fall to the wayside? So they're my biggest question. Just like how they start is kind of telling to me if they're either going to be second team in the division or if they're, like you said, just going into complete rebuild mode.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, John, you got a cat, man.
Yeah, I got a cat back there.
Hey, what's your cat name, man?
What's that one? What's that one name? Zoe? I call it Fatback though. Keep fat. Yeah.
Yo, that's wild, yo.
No.
Hey, you're a wild boy. But yeah. So I think my biggest question mark. Yeah. So it's gotta be life after Drew Brees for the Saints team. And then, we're going to have a quarterback battle with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. That's one thing where it's just such a weird thing. And they got my boy in such a messed up situation. One of my childhood idols, Ronald Curry, quarterback coach for the Saints, UNC. But it's okay, Thad. It's okay. It's okay, Thad, But
everything,
yeah.
Everything comes back to UNC on the show. I swear to God, everything comes back to UNC. Yeah. I mean, it got to, man. Hey, man. Ronald Curry is an icon. He's a legend in our state. But yeah, so and like you said, then this, like you said, JB's point earlier, the Michael Thomas saga, which it's just weird. It's almost, and we talked about it on one of the shows. I don't know if you was on it there. We almost compared to how like Phil Jackson. Not Phil Jackson, but Scottie Pippen in 97. 97 when he had delayed his surgery, and almost kind of eerily similar,
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he didn't want to mess this something up either. So I mean, and that's another thing too. Where this Michael Thomas thing it's a major distraction at this time of the year, like when we were talking about it earlier, where you get your surgery in June, which is. You think to yourself, we're weeks away from training camp. Yep. You ignore our calls, you ignore everybody, the training staff, you ignore everyone. Then you decide to take a surgery that you're gonna be out for a significant amount of time, weeks prior to training camp. So it's just it's a little interesting that's going on in New Orleans. Like you said, this used to be kind of like you talked about. This division that New Orleans pretty much ran up until obviously Tom Brady comes in and what have you. But you just look at simple fact, and they still won the division last year. So this is another thing where you look at the Saints team, and it's just like it can all drop in an instant, especially with what's going on in New Orleans. So let's see, we got breakout player in the AFC. NFC South. Let's do that again. So, Jelani, what you got?
That might say it, but and it's kind of against my better judgment because obviously I would never say anything good about the Aints, but I do want to see Jameis, kind of find that rhythm again. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I think the popular thing is to hate him. Obviously because he threw those 30 interceptions, first 30 for 30 type player. NFL, but I think he's still a decent quarterback, is still a starting quarterback in this league. I think he has a strong arm. He just got to get better with the decision making. And I think I don't, it's against my better judgment to say I want him to break out, but I do want him to have a good year. I do want him to solidify that spot and kind of put down the noise of the Taysom Hill battling for the quarterback spot and all that. Taysom Hill is not an NFL quarterback, so. I kind of hope he has a good year. Outside of him, obviously, I'm gonna be a little biased. Got to have my guy Kyle Pitts be a breakout player of the year. Hopefully, he's over 1,000 yards, maybe. They're gonna move him around a lot. He's gonna have a lot of opportunities. So, definitely hoping he has a breakout year because if he does, it should. I mean, it doesn't always translate well. We always have a lot of offensive stars that do well, but then our defense is just trash. So, hopefully, if he is having a breakout year, it translates into some wins this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Inject that bias. Jelani. I like that.
Yeah, as you feeling me? I'm gonna have to. It's probably gonna come down the stretch. I'm gonna finish off strong with the bias.
Big time. JB, what you got?
Okay, so there are a few guys I was throwing back and forth, man. I really can't have Jameis as a breakout player because he's done his thing before. I just when I'm looking at Jameis, can Jameis limit the interceptions? I think if he can limit the interceptions, then I think the Saints have a chance to actually maybe be better than what I expect them to be. But I'm gonna look at another quarterback. I think Sam Darnold is like prime for a breakout year. I think he's in a better situation. I think Carolina has a better offensive line. I think hopefully this year Christian McCaffrey is healthy too. He's got some weapons. Like he actually had like a real nice rapport with Robbie Anderson when he was with the Jets. So they're reunited, and he's actually going to be with a better offensive coordinator this time around. Instead of having Adam Gase, he's going to be linked up with Joe Brady. So I think that Darnold's prime for a breakout. And like Jelani said, another guy I was looking at is Kyle Pitts. I think Pitts. Actually, I think that he could have a monster year this year. I mean, he's a big guy, he's physical, and he's got, he's a tight end, but he's got wide receiver tools, he's got wide receiver speed, and it's always not a bad thing when you're a rookie receiver to have like a veteran quarterback. So I think Kyle Pitts could definitely, Kyle Pitts is definitely going to be in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year this year. But yeah, my breakout player is Darnold this year.
Big time. Dad, what you got?
For the AFC, I had two, but I did one. For this one, I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna keep it real quick.
Okay.
I got Calvin Ridley for, it was a couple questions going around if he was a number one. I said last year he was a number one. I think he solidified that ending the year, and he's showing it, having a strong training camp, eating up the. I know it's just practice clip, but I'm pretty sure he's eating up Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. But yeah, for a career, he's had a solid career. He's like average 1,000 yards for his career pretty much, and had 70 catches if you average all 3 seasons together. So it's pretty solid. And I feel like with, at first it was going to be a little tough because with Julio leaving, he was going to see all the double teams. But with Kyle Pitts coming in, he's a matchup nightmare. So will they be able to double team him as much? And I just feel like with him being the vocal part of the offense, he will see a lot more targets. The same targets that Julio's getting is going to be spread around between him, Todd Gurley, and maybe Russell Gage. But I feel like Calvin Ridley could be one of those 1,500-yard, 100-catch guys, one of those type seasons. So I could see that there. And then my other guy is Brian Burns. He had 16 and a half sacks in his first 2 years. Very good D lineman. We got to be biased in here. He's an FSU guy. He probably ate up UNC when they played a lot.
Perhaps.
Solid edge rusher, better, and they're adding playmakers to that defense, so he could see. Derek Brown playing the nose and the 3 tech, he's gonna see double teams, so he's gonna see a lot of one-on-one matchups on the outside with those tackles, and I feel like he might feast this year. I could see breakout, season coming from him with a good amount of forced fumbles and maybe 13, 14 sacks.
Yeah. Matt's gotta be Adam Trotman, tight end for the Saints, and like Ted said earlier, I mean, most of their guys who led them in receptions, except for Alvin Kamara, is gone. And even with the inclusion of Michael Thomas, who is going to miss significant time. So he's definitely going to be Jameis Winston's safety net. Because like you said, Jared Cook's gone. What's his face? Emmanuel Sanders is gone. So who can catch the ball for the Saints minus Alvin Kamara? Like at this point, and it's just you just look at the situation where he's bound to have a breakout year. I'm not saying like he might gonna be up among like Kelsey. He's not gonna be the top tight ends when we talk about Kelsey, Kittle, Thomas, Logan Thomas, but he's not gonna. Pardon me. No. What is that? Well, I'm telling you, all right, we got, so we think, brother.
Yeah, and Logan Thomas and his 8 yards per reception.
Hey.
But it'll go up this year. I think it'll go up this year.
Say that for the NFC East next week. Oh boy, that's gonna be crazy. But yeah, we're talking. Jelani, you already know. We did a Smack Talk show, and
yeah, I know how it
is. Yeah, got a little testy in there.
It's chippy,
a little chippy, but it's all love.
Yeah.
But I like your Smacks. It's like everybody else, like the other divisions. Mm-hmm. They know what they talking about. They just calm, cool, and stoic. But
Yeah.
I swear
They throw little shots here and there, but
they throw little shots.
is-
But Lord, we be in there. We was in there like I'm calling James by his government name. Like he got heated.
Oh, dog fight.
Bars, I can call bars.
Mo got to go away from the kids just to get on and yell at Aaron. Like,
right, and I had to get on him. I'm like, look, like my quarterback was playing on one leg. And you over here talking about some he ain't been around Fitzpatrick. I was like, Mo, go home.
Back off.
It was wild, but yeah, definitely, man. That was a good show. But yeah, so dark horse in the NFC South. Let's see. Dad, what you got?
I think I said that a little bit earlier. I'm going with the Panthers. You know, I'm a believer in Sam Darnold, and they have weapons. You know, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They drafted Terrence Marshall, who I wanted the Jags to grab towards the end of the first round. But, you know, he slipped late in the second round. They have CMC coming back, who was hurt all last year. And they have some decent O-linemen and a good play caller in Matt Rule so far. So I feel like their offense can take off. Their defense shows signs. And, you know, the year before last, they spent all 7 draft picks on defense. So that unit's only going to get better. And I feel like with the Falcons falling off of last year and not getting much better, and then the Saints falling, I feel like they're going to fall off this year. The Panthers could take that next step. I do not think they'll win the division or challenge the Bucs for it, but I could potentially see them, sneaking in at like 9-8 or 10-7. That's not what I had them going, but I could see them sneaking in like that in the wild card spot.
Yeah. JB, what you got?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I'm going the Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to be the second best team in the NFC South. I don't think that they'll challenge the Bucs for the division. Although I kind of hate this with the record saying because so much can change with injuries. Yeah. So as of right now, the Bucs, they're the filet mignon of the division, but we never know what could happen with injuries and everything like that. But yeah, I think the Panthers are a dark horse team, and I think that like they could be a very solid bet because they did it last year. They're going to be 3 wild card teams, so I think that they could definitely snag one of the 3 wild cards because they're probably most likely not going to win the division. So,
yeah, Jelani.
Yeah, a quick shout out, our guy from high school, Alex Georgie. Well, we used to call him Georgie in high school, but yeah, shout out to Alex for tuning in. But yeah, I gotta bring up the little Panthers love fest. I think the Falcons fans be calling them the kitties. I don't do that, but we call them the kitties. I understand why though. Obviously, I think their defense is young, but they're like a year or 2 ahead of our young defense. Sam Darnold, everybody's expecting him to break out. They got offensive weapons around him. Everybody's expecting CMC to be healthy, and they can easily be the second team in this division. Like I said, with the Saints and Falcons kind of falling off. But I gotta go with my hometown team. Gotta go with the Falcons. Like it's no other choice because they are the dark horse because we have outside of Tom Brady the most veteran leadership quarterback in the division, former MVP. He's still surrounded by weapons. Obviously, Julio's out the door, but say you replace him with Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage is still a very good and capable receiver. I think he had 700, maybe 800 yards last year. Hayden Hurst is a solid tight end as well. We've got other young receivers there as well. Backfield's looking decent. Got Mike Davis and a few undrafted rookies that a lot of people are excited about. I think one's from Louisville, the ACC. I think you might know his name. I forgot his name. Starts with a J. But offensively, like it's never really been a question. It's just our defensive end. But I think with Dean Pease coming in, our system changing a little bit, guys being in better positions. Like last year, we had one of my guys, Gator, forgot outside linebacker though. I don't know why his name just slipped my mind. But yeah, no. We just signed him last year from the Rams. Yes, I don't know why his name just slipped my mind, but Dante Fowler. We had him. Yeah, we try to have. He's not a straight up rush guy. Like he's a smaller outside rush guy. He's really an outside linebacker. I think our switch in defensive scheme will help him out a lot, along with other people on defensive line. Only question really is our secondary because our secondary is super duper young. We signed Eric Harris and Harmon in the offseason to be those veterans in the backside. But, corner wise, we're still young. And I think we're still maybe a year or two away. So if the defense is able to, be solid enough, somewhere around maybe the 16th, 17th best defense in the league, along with our offense hopefully still surging, we should be, dark horse team and can compete right there with the Bucks and even the Panthers if people see them as the number 2 team. So
yeah. So Jelani, I got to stand 10 toes down on you, brother.
Sir.
Give me the Falcons.
Follow it up. Yes, sir.
I'm going to be real with you. Give me the Falcons. For some odd reason, I was a little leery about the Arthur Smith hire, but I still can't ignore what he did for Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee. He might have a Kyle Shanahan type of influence on.
Hopefully not. If we was able to get to the Super Bowl, hopefully not influence on the last.
Well, I put it this way, more so of like somewhat of a rebirth in the final act of Matt Ryan's career. I just look at this team, and then you look at, even though this team was 4-12, and I feel, and I'm telling you, I swear to you, every Sunday I used to be like, look out for my little brother Jelani, because and they would lose games because they were 4-12. So half of the games they lost, it was less than 5 points. So when you sit down and you think about it from that standpoint, you got to think to yourself how close those games were, and in just a matter of just if you were able to execute within. So you look at that, and then, like you said, because I think they realized that, okay, this team isn't necessarily like we need to rebuild. We can rebuild on the fly. I mean, obviously, with the owner of the owner of your team, the Home Depot. So I kind of bring it into that kind of context. So I think you realize, okay, we still got a foundation. Let's not tear down the house. Yeah. I think we have, a few, we might have some situations with this team where they can be, we can be successful. We can build off of the veteran leadership on this team, and we're just gonna try it out. And if it don't, because like to me, I think the Kyle Pitts pick to me was like, okay, I think we still got what it takes. We might lose Julio, but in the same token, we got a weapon, to replace Julio. So the Kyle Pitts is a great, solid acquisition. But yeah, I definitely think this Atlanta Falcons team. Yeah, Calvin Ridley. Yeah, Calvin Ridley's another guy. Yep. And he's another guy. Well, he almost had 1,200 yards almost last year, was on more. Yeah, my research correct. I think it was 13. Yeah, but I definitely think the Falcons could do, do some, can at least, I put it this way, disrupt the NFC South. As far as I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but they could do some things, and I think that's another thing too, where I look at them, and we talked about Jacksonville, and then the Chargers. These are teams that lost heartbreaking losses last year, and now they've injecting a new blood into their system. So, you think to yourself, those times they couldn't execute in the fourth quarter, that they're going to figure it out, and in both of those three regimes. So I think the Falcons is there. I definitely think they could put a little fear in the NFC South. They can kind of crash the party if that's a applicable word.
Exactly. I know we're probably about to get into it now, but we actually got a decently favorable schedule this year. Like, no offense to y'all, but we play the NFC East and the AFC. We play NFC East and what's the others? Tom, I can't even think. I think it might be the AFC South.
I think.
AFC East and the NFC East. My fault. AFC East and the NFC East. But we play the Lions and we also play the Jaguars as well. It's got two teams in the one team's in the AFC South. So we got a favorable schedule as well. So I think, like Georgie just said, I think we have a chance to shock some people.
But yeah, I stand 10 toes with you, Jelani. But on October 3rd, you better pack your lunch. You better pack your lunch. Because You better pack your lunch.
Jelani, don't worry. As long as if y'all score 24 points, they're not gonna beat y'all.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not worried at all. Honestly, like the only thing I'm worried, like if we're going with a healthy offensive line and just keep Matt off his back, I'll give up maybe 2-3 sacks. I think we only allow like 2 or 3 sacks. We're fine. And 24 points, that's easy work. Because Fitzpatrick's I'm giving Fitzpatrick, he's throwing at least 2 interceptions at the very least. So
y'all better let that top off. Y'all better let that top off. I'm gonna tell you, man.
I mean, as long as Matt Ryan's on his feet, I think everybody getting past that secondary, so we're good.
Okay. Pack your lunch October 3rd. Pack your lunch and let that top open. Let that top open, Mercedes Benz. It's a bombs away.
Keep that close.
But yeah, man. So, fella, let's round out the NFC South. So, let's do our record predictions. I'm gonna go with you first, Thad. What you got?
And I forgot to say this when I came on the last one.
I'm
doing my own official record prediction, so don't hold me to this. I'm gonna look into it a little more, but just don't overreact to it. So I got the Bucs going 14-3. Their 3 losses will be the Rams. I think they're gonna lose to the Pats when Tom Brady goes back, and then I think you might like this coach. They might lose to the football team. They might be able to pull it off, in that match.
Your check is in the mail.
I'm gonna get you by 30. My fault. Let me run that back. I'm gonna get by 30, and their 3rd loss gonna be to the Bills.
Yeah.
And, the Panthers will go 7-10. The Falcons will go 6-11, and the Saints will go 6-11.
ATL. I feel you. I feel you, Thad, because I did the simulation, and I'm telling you, every week I always preface it like, "Look, I did a simulation in like July. Like, don't hold me to it. Like, I'm really gonna have to have a show for it. Honestly, I gotta try to figure out a way to kind of, because it getting a little wild.
Yeah,
Jelani.
Texas prediction.
Yeah.
Hey, we're being nice, We're a friendly show. We're a family friendly show. What you got, Jelani?
I'll start with my Falcons. Like I said, we got a pretty favorable schedule. I'm not gonna lie. Like I can see us winning, pulling out 10 games. Like you said, like a lot of our games came in heartbreaking fashion. I think the coaching that was in place didn't hold certain guys accountable. So I feel like if it was a certain game that we was to give up like that, like that's not going down with Arthur Smith and Dean Pease in the crowd we got now. So I don't expect us to lose games like that. And I think JB said it earlier, typically when you're on one side of those games one year, you're on the other side the next. So we had 5-6 games like that. I can see us winning a solid 10 games, like maybe even more. I ain't gonna lie. I think we're gonna win a solid 10 though. We're gonna win a solid 10 if help is on our side for sure. Like we play the NFC South and the AFC East, and the only team in the AFC East I'm really concerned about is the Bills. NFC East, I'm not really concerned about any of them, to be honest. And we play the Jaguars and we play the Lions. I think our tough team that's going to be tough outs obviously is the Bucks twice a year, 49ers. I already said the Bills, Dolphins maybe. So I mean we got a pretty favorable schedule. I'm going 10-7 with us just to keep it because things happen. So we're an Atlanta team. Something's bound to happen. So 10-7 for us. Bucks, same thing as that. I definitely see them. Honestly, maybe not if not 13. You said 14-3, right? I think 13-4. I think they'll probably lose against the I think they'll lose against the Bills. I think they'll lose. They have a chance to, like you said, maybe Washington upsets them, maybe. Because y'all got that one at home? I think y'all might have that one at home.
November 14th off of bye week, Jelani.
So that's a possibility. Bills, Washington, what was the other 2 teams at the Rams? And even the Dolphins may challenge them a little bit. I know they got that one at home, but it's a possibility if Tua is playing right. Saints 6-11 for sure, and Panthers 7-10 too. I don't know. It's something like the Kitties that they don't scare me either. I think their defense is a little bit, like I said, their defense is 1-2 year rebuild ahead of ours, but something's bound to happen with them. CMC ain't been healthy the last few years. And like I said, that defense is building, but I still think there's holes in it. So 7-10 for them.
That's hella disrespectful.
What?
He keeps it man, and dude, you got a cat at your house. Your cat might start attacking you. You disrespecting your cat.
That's a kitty too. She don't care. It's like we got a team named after us. That's cool.
Shout out to Zoe, man. Shout out to Zoe. So what you had the Saints says? I'm sorry.
The Saints 6-11.
Okay.
Yeah.
JB, what you got?
All right, so my big concern with Atlanta is the fact that, I think that what I've been seeing from Matt Ryan is that Matt Ryan's arm strength it's declined quite a bit the last few years. So I think the Falcons will be better this year, but I'll say 7-10 for the Falcons. The Saints, I'll say 7-10 for the Saints as well. I think that the Mike Thomas injury looms large. The Panthers, I'm going to give them, with better quarterback play, I think that they can win 9 games this year. So I'll have them as 9-8. And the division champion, I'll have the Bucks with a 14-3 record. I think the Bucks will go 14-3.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I so I got the okay. So I got the Saints at 6-11. I got bro. That's gonna live in my mind rent free for all week. So
hop on it. Yeah, I mean, they got to earn that Panther title. I don't think they've earned it. We're not getting swept we don't get swept by them. Did we get swept last year? I think. No, we pulled one out last year. I think we pulled one out. We almost got swept by them. I think we pulled one out. We typically don't lose them though.
The Panthers at 7-10. And then I got the Falcons at 10-7, and then I got the Bucks at 12-5.
Can you run that back for me one more time, Coach?
Yeah.
After the Panthers.
So I got Atlanta 10-7.
Yeah. Yes, sir. 10-7.
And then I got Tampa Bay 12-5.
What? I just got one quick question for you, since we're at the end of the show for the most part. What do you like so much about the Falcons that they're going? What's going to change on their defense? Because they're straight, but they can't close games. But I think the safety. Yeah,
I think they're going to be able to close games, and I think now having a offensive-minded head coach is definitely going to help them with August Smith. Like I said, I think I'm thinking Atlanta looking at the situation where I think we can be salvageable. And as far as you do get rid of Julio, and we talked about Kyle Pitts, pretty much going, pretty much going to be the guy in Atlanta as far as front, and then Calvin Ridley is still there. I really like the team. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be just one of those teams like when we look at it. If we already know there's a turnover when it comes to playoff teams. Like it's gonna be like half the teams that made the playoffs in 2020 won't make it in 2021. And I look at this team, as one of those teams that could potentially make the playoffs, especially at 10-7. Probably more likely could be a wild card team at 10-7. It's all contingent on.
I respectfully disagree. I do think that there's going to be there's going to be some improvement there, but I don't see them being able to close out games. I think that they kind of are what they are. Their defense would have to make a major upgrade, for them to win 10 games. I just can't see it. I can see them winning. I can see them win 7 or 8 games, but I think that they got worse in the offseason.
Potentially.
Yeah. I mean,
but like I said,
my fault. I was say obviously the major departure is Julio, but I think Kenton said it on the Smack Talk, the 2 positions in the NFL that's the most fluid to where you can just you can kind of replace the production in somewhat capacity is running back and wide receiver. And I feel with the type of player that we brought in the draft with Kyle Pitts, it won't be that major of a drop off. And
isn't Matt Ryan 37 now, 36,
I
37.
think he's
Like that's what
36.
my biggest thing with him is that like I haven't liked what I've seen from him. Like I think that as the year goes on, I think beginning of the year he's good, but I think as the year goes on, I think that the arm strength is like a really big concern with me. Like I don't think he can really stretch the field like he used to be able to. Like I think this is not like MVP Matt Ryan. Like if he was younger, I would like definitely like. I'm not sure if he can like put a team on his back and like actually like, because that's my biggest concern is like with the defense. I think that he's gonna have to go out and win games, and I'm not sure if he can do that anymore.
Yeah, hopefully not. The only thing that I feel like arm strength, I guess, has been a question. Even last year, we were talking about Tom Brady's arm strength, but the one thing that I know is different from last year and this year, like obviously we was down, or we got down a lot in certain games to where we have to start trying to check the ball down the field. Arthur Smith's offense isn't like that really. Like it's predicated on run, play action, and not really dip and dunk, but like just not down the field action all the time. Like it's gonna be there, it's gonna be open. I think his arm strength, I guess, I don't think it's that much of a question. I feel like he can, get the deep ball there or get the, out route or outpost or post out route, whatever, and drop it in when need be. But I think the type of offense that we're running the arm strength won't really be that much of a question or need to be that much of a question.
Yeah, then bringing in like we talked about Cal Pitts definitely help him in short yardage situations. So yeah, and I think that'd be just a team that'll shock people. So I just look at it from that standpoint. But I definitely I'm a ride with this Atlanta Falcons team. So it'd be fun to watch that. But on October 3rd, y'all,
that's all right.
This one y'all 7 losses.
You can take the 1 week off, coach. Right? But we got 16 more. You can hop on the band.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be a fun game, But yeah.
Hopefully not fun for you, but
it'll be fun. Fun.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't like either teams. I wish y'all both worked. I think the football team gonna eat it live. The Falcons, like that was hold up with Sweat, Chase Young, Allen.
That's what I'm saying. Like if we can get past them, I'm not scared about the backside. Like the last 4 guys, 2 corners, the safe. I'm not worried about that. Yeah. I got one line. I forgot the one linebacker name that I'm a little worried about.
Which one, Jamie Davis?
Huh? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He got to produce first though. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
Don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, but he's in good position because of the people, the 4 in front of him. So I mean, as long as we keep Matt Ryan up, we're gonna be fine, honestly, because I'm not scared about anybody else really on the backside of the defense. Just that front 4 chasing Sweat. That's scary. Yeah. But we got pretty solid tackles.
Your childhood friend. Yeah.
Man, child, you always been big.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Montez. Pride of Starkville, Mississippi State. But yeah, man. So let's put a bow on this week's NFL preview for the South. We'll go around the horn. Social media, upcoming projects, and plug your stuff. Thad.
Appreciate it once again. Thank you for having me on, Coach Couch. All season we at it. And Jelani below me, we do a show What the Game Means to Me. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. My personal Twitter is @5_04. An upcoming project, I'm thinking of trying to get together, a new show, a quarterback show / NFL. So it's in the works, and I don't know if I'm doing it in a week or 2, but that's the plan. So yeah, that's what I got.
We gonna push you to do that. You're going to do that. We're going to push you. We're gonna get you there. And actually, we were talking the other day. Actually, I think I got not an idea, but like maybe a title of it if you need one. But I'll hit you up though with that. I think it would be kind of cool, a little innovative at that. Because we use.
That's a crazy thing. I was searching for a title.
Oh yeah. That's another thing too, because this one might be it might be tooken, but we'll see. But Jelani, what you got?
Yeah, just like that said. I don't know if we're talking. We may follow up. We may follow you up. We may be on Monday, but football season around the corner, so we're gonna be on a lot more. What the game means to me. Going to try to probably finish out the Smack Talks within the upcoming weeks before the first week of the season or a week into the season. But like that said, too, we're going to get that up and running. I might have a name for him as well, but we'll figure it all out at the end. But obviously, it's going to be on our channel, What the Game Means to Me as well. But appreciate you again for having us, Coach. Love talking about my Falcons and the rest of football. So just looking forward to this upcoming season. And it was great to be on tonight.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's going to definitely be interesting football season, and definitely we chop it up and on the various shows and everything that we be doing. So we'll definitely be an interesting season. Mm-hmm. JB, what you got?
Yeah, man, I'm on Facebook. That's it. I'm still holding off. No Twitter. No Instagram, nothing like that. But I do have an idea. I wanted to run this by you. I'm gonna send you something via text message because I saw something that was really interesting on YouTube, and I think that there is like an untapped market for what this guy. He has a YouTube channel on hockey, and I think there's untapped market with football and basketball that no other YouTubers are doing. So I wanted to run that back. I wanted to run that by you, Chris, see what you had to say. So
yeah, absolutely. Always searching for the next big thing, and and me, I'm always doing something. So I definitely want to add it to my plate. But man, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live. Don't have anything. Well, also the audio version of the podcast is on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. We go round out our NFL previews. I think we're going. I think it's only right. I'm gonna have to do it. I have to break up the East. I gotta do the AFC East on another day. I think the NFC East has to have its own show, its own microscope, its own light, because I think James beating me in that, I took that personal. I took that personal. So the NFC East, and I think I'm gonna check with Bars. I think he's gonna be on vacation next week or something or whatever. But even if I gotta hold it back for going to bleed into September. It's whatever, It's like
you gotta get your get back.
Correct. And the NFC East, and it's just a very interesting, division. It's by far one of the best divisions, not from a football standpoint, but just the whole rivalry itself. But all four teams come together. Mm-hmm. It's funny. It's almost like a brotherhood. It's almost like we don't like each other team wise. Mm-hmm. But in the same token, if you go against us, all four of us gonna ride for each other. So if y'all talk if somebody talking crap about the Cowboys on somebody end, if they like a Patriots fan or whatever, we might step in and be like, all right, we're gonna settle the score. And they talk trash about the division, we all gonna be like, look, and we'll come in solidarity. And I'm telling you, I swear, when we did a Smack Talk with you, even in 2020, I think that's when it all really when the rivalry and all that type of stuff, it really kind of just it roared it, and it made it even better because it was so. And I tell you, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. When in 2020, all y'all they was all laughing at me. Yeah. J Mac, it was J Mac, Chris. Mm-hmm. And who do we have a Philly guy at that time?
Yeah, we had one.
Jonathan Benton. Mm-hmm. All of them looked at me. I'm talking about Asian people. I'm talking about we're gonna do this. Ha 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 ha. But guess what? At the end of the day, guess what? I was able to get we won the division. Yep. We won the division. Everybody looked at me stupid in August. Almost like, why the hell we even here? 2020. 2020. They almost got me off the stage. They looked at me like, what the hell are you here for? But guess what? I went in there quietly. I did my points, and then guess what? I was able to celebrate the NFC East Championship.
Yep. With a losing record, man.
You damn right. You damn right. And I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Banner's a banner.
Banner's a banner. I got a shirt for it and a hat for it. Okay. Look. Especially how it was in August when everybody thought we were going to be the worst team in the NFL. Like, you remember how it was when I came in there quietly. Everybody carrying around, walking around with a big stick and all like, oh, my team is this, my team is that.
I was going through a lot last year.
Right. All the Monchizo that was in that room and testosterone. Then I come in, like a confident lion and came out the jungle with a victory. So, and I took that personal. Especially this year, 2021. Like, it's like I seen that
back-to-back champs.
I seen that poll and I was like, that goddamn balls. I'll be real with y'all. That damn balls. Like, but that's what I'm saying. But it's all love, though. But yeah, balls. Yeah, that was funny because I said we got the best defense, bar none. I was like, that hit. But no one clapped. But yeah, man. So yeah, this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, and we're bringing the heat already for the NFC East. Like, good knows what's gonna happen next week. Get ready for it. Everybody gonna have to pack their lunch. It's gonna be a war. But yeah, man. So definitely appreciate you, Thad, Jelani, and JB for coming on this week, man. So that's been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week.
Of course. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. All right.